Hi everyone, how are you today? Thanks for joining me. If you're here live, welcome, and I hope that you'll stay to the end because we are giving away some prizes, some gift vouchers here at Essential Stencil. Look, I think that I may not have my screen flipped around properly, so I'm just going to do that. There we go. Hey Peggy, how are you? Oh, Olive, come. Olive's trying to grab the cable cord here. Hello, how are you today? Thank you for joining me. I am from the blog I Restore Stuff. I'm Sharon Hankins, and welcome today to a live. I'm going to see if Olive will come and join us up here. Come. Nope, she's not going to. I have a treat here for her ready to give her so she knows it's right here. Hi Diana, hi Karina, how are you today? Christy's here, Peggy's here. Welcome. We're going to do a couple of fall decor and transfers today. I've got a couple of items. I have a silver tray that I've picked up just at a thrift store, and it's kind of a little bit tarnished and worn, so I think that I'll just paint that with some chalk paint and use it as a sign hanger. Come and say hello to the people. She's not going to say hello. And I also have a round board, and I want to do something Scandinavian inspired today. So I'll let you guess what stencil we might be using for that. And also, Essential Stencil has pinned our live comments, a live description of our live right there in the comments so that you can quickly access any of the links that we'll be using for today. And I think I forgot to put one of them in there. So we've got my code, I Restore Stuff, where you can save 10% on any of the Essential Stencil projects. Now, if you joined Amanda earlier, she was showcasing the brand new Halloween stencils. If you want any of those, you can also use my code, I Restore Stuff, and save 10% on the brand new bundle of those. She's not going to come. I'm just going to give her this treat, so she will go and enjoy. There we go. Olive, see if you can see her in the corner here. Ready? Come. Get it. There she is. Bye. So hopefully we'll see how long that lasts her. And so I've just pre-painted this board in a white, so that's Fusion's Casement White. And I have noticed there's just a little bit of bleed through. So sometimes this is a tip for you if you're painting furniture or home decor or signs. Sometimes when you're using raw wood, you'll get these sections of the wood that might be darker or have some, I know it's the tannins in the wood that really cause that bleeding through. So this is a tip for you. Yes, Bonnie, you've got it. That's the one. Yeah, you can probably hear my voice. I'm still battling that cold that it's just hung around for ages. I've been taking all the things. But anyway, we'll get there. So this is like a darker piece of wood here, and that's the section that's created a little bit of bleed through. So I don't know if you can see that, but you can still see I've got 2 coats of the paint on there, and you can still see a little bit of tannin from the wood bleeding through, and maybe a couple of areas. I think this area has covered, but just that one section right here. So I'm going to do one more coat, but what I would do if I was you, and this is my tip for all furniture that I paint as well, because I do a lot of upcycling, is you can get a product called Zinser, that's the brand, Zinser, Z-I-N-S-S-E-R, Zinser Bin, B-I-N, it stands for something, but it's a shellac-based sealer, and that actually blocks the tannins or any ink stains. Sometimes you'll get an old piece of furniture with some ink spilled in the drawer. Cassie said she painted her entire kitchen using casement, which is this white, and little teapot, which is a really bright blue. That's bold, Cassie. I love it though. I can imagine that. That's beautiful. Christy, thank you so much for sprinkling out and sharing our live today. That's amazing. We love that. Olive, come on. Where's your treat? Where's your treat gone? I don't know what she's done taking it. I heard her scratching some furniture back there. I don't want that to happen. Anyway, so there's my top tip. If you were going to do something and it was a piece of furniture, I am just going to try and go over it again with a little bit of more white. But let's see. Let's just go straight down to our live today. Karen says, sweet Olive. Yeah, but I heard her scratching some. There she goes. She's got her treat. I see her. She's looking for a place to bury it or hide it, I guess. A little bit further up. Got a little bit of shadow just here, but hopefully you can see that okay. Now, this isn't the first one I'm going to be doing today, but I'll paint the tray. But I just want to cover and see if this will cover one more time. But honestly, that Zinsser bin stain blocker, now you have to get the one that says stain blocker on it, but it is really good. It's probably the only product that I've found that actually blocks the tannins and stains in the wood. So really I don't have to go over all of it, but I'm going to try my best to get that stain removed. And we'll see when it dries is when you can really tell if it's gone or not. And sometimes you'll see it through on the edges as well. But yeah, if I had that, I don't have any of that Zinsser right now, and so that would have been a good time to put it on. And you can put on that stain blocker after you've discovered, so I don't really use it at all until the bleed through happens. So if it's not covering with my regular furniture paints, like the Fusion Mineral Paint, then I'll go and get the Zinsser, and then you can just do one coat over that. There is a white Zinsser, and then there's a clear shellac-based stain blocker. I use the white one, especially if I'm using white to paint my furniture. Yeah, I can still see it's shining through a little bit. Anyway, we're going to be putting a stencil over the top, so it doesn't matter so much. But if you were doing a piece of furniture, that's one of my tips right there, is to make sure that you have a good stain blocker. All right, so I'm putting my brush just in here in case you want to do any further coats or paint anything else in the next little while, and that'll stop it from drying out. Just going to find my live here on the page so that I can see comments coming through. Yes, Christy, it's the Zinsser. Oh, I don't know if it's the 1, 2, 3 bullseye, but it definitely says capital B-I-N. It's, B, stop, I, stop, N, stop. It stands for something, and it definitely says stain blocker on it. So yeah, let me just pop that aside. And yes, this is the stencil that we'll be doing that Scandinavian inspired. And I found some colours. I was just looking up Scandinavian signs online, and I found some colours that would really suit that. So we will look at those in just a minute. Another thing in that new fall collection, now you can get any of these on pre-order right now using the code iRestoreStuff. You'll save 10%. But all of these are available right now for pre-order, and they should ship by the end of August, which is nearly here. We're at the 29th, so shipping starts on the 30th, I believe. Is this, I'm not going to be using this today, but it's the Simply Blessed sign, and you'll see that it has these beautiful leaves here, and they can be used also for a bit of Scandinavian design. You could put them on a tray, use them for something completely different, and there's another one going the other way for the bottom. So that's another idea I thought I'd bring out. Now this silver tray, just picked it up at a thrift store, and I'm going to paint with chalk paint. Chalk paint usually has a good coverage, and this is an Australian brand, so you won't find this in the States, I'm sorry, but you can use Fusion Mineral Paint as well. I just find usually that chalk paint has a thicker coat, and it allows for a little bit more brush strokes and that kind of thing if you want to use that. Now I have shaken this up a fair bit, but because it's got a narrow neck on the bottle, sometimes it's good to have a good stir of a chalk paint, but it's not quite stirrable. Let's see, with that. And so it feels a little thin. Oh, not too bad. But we're going to see how we go with this. So I'm just painting in this, it's called Courgette. Now that's looking really thin, guys. Oh, and probably I needed to have a lot more of the chalky mixture, which has probably fallen to the bottom. I do prefer the paint pots that have, a wide neck, and so you can get something in there and whisk it and stir it around. But we'll have to just go with what we've got here. And this might need a few coats. It'll still go on, but Now chalk paint, there's a difference between chalk paint and mineral paint, and then there's also milk paint. And I do have a really good blog post explanation on my blog, I Restore Stuff. Olive! Olive! Whoop. Come. What are you doing? Come. Sorry, I could hear her scratching our nice new leather couch, and we don't want that, do we? So let's just get that treat out of there. Here I was thinking I was doing the right thing by giving her a treat so we could enjoy our live in peace, and then she goes and finds something else to do that's not quite what I want her to do. Okay, so this, it doesn't really matter if I can see some brush strokes along there. I'm going to hit that with the hairdryer and we'll see what happens. Oh, Jeannie, your sweet dog's name is Olive too. I wonder what breed you have. We have a cavoodle, which is a mixture of a Cavalier Spaniel and a Poodle. And I think you guys over there, you might call them Cockapoo. No, that's a Cocker Spaniel. This one's a Cavalier. Cavapoo, I think is what you call them. In the States, we just kind of name them a little bit differently. Okay, so you can see that chalk paint is starting to dry real chalky right here. And we will need a couple of coats on this. Yes, Robin, yeah. Robin's joining late and is asking what this is. Yes, it was just a silver charger. Oh, it's getting hot because it's metal. And I'm drying it with my hot dryer. So, yeah, I'm just going to see if I can get a little bit more of the chalky. Oh, Charlotte, you said you've got a Shih-Tzu, which must be the cross between a Shih Tzu and a Poodle, maybe. Is that correct? You can see all of the brush strokes right there in between. So what I'm going to do with this one, let me show you a little bit of the plan so you can think ahead what we're going to be using. Abundantly Blessed is the stencil that I'm going to be using for this one. So we've got this stencil here and this one on the back. I'll pull those out in a minute. And I want to use one of the transfers. Oh, and you know what, guys? We've had a busy week. Anyway, I've been a bit distracted. We've had family here. We've had all sorts of celebrations. Marty's dad's birthday while his sister was visiting from the States. Anyway, this is the Pumpkin Harvest transfers, and I did not even look to see if they are still available right now. I possibly could do that super quickly right here on my laptop. What did I say? Pumpkin Harvest. Pumpkin Harvest rub-on transfer. Oh, it's on sale right now. Oh, that just means that if you buy more, so if you buy a set of 2 or more, guys, there's only 2 left. So if you did want these, I just checked now, and there's only 2 of these transfers left. So if you're ordering something today, please don't forget to use my code I Restore Stuff, and you can enjoy these transfers. They may restock them, or they may not this fall. So if you do want some more transfers, I would jump in right now and get those. Oh, there we go. There's a little bit thicker. So I maybe should have just shaken that up a lot more. I'll see how thick this goes on. Who else has bought the transfers and used those on your fall decor so far? Or are they oh, hang on, I'm not sure. Were they ready for pre-order? Where's your treat? What are you barking for? I got you your treat so it would last forever. Olive, it's supposed to last forever. Okay, so I thought this was a nice green to kind of use as a background. I'm going to go around the edges, and you know what, I wouldn't even mind if this, you know, sometimes when you add heat to chalk paint, it can crackle a bit. So I wouldn't even mind if that crackled a little. I feel like this is pulling right here. There's some pulling of the original layer. So that's a bit annoying. See, I do all this experimenting so that you can learn from my mistakes. Sometimes it'll pull off that first layer if we haven't allowed it to dry well enough. Maybe I'll just leave my coat a little thicker. Let me see. Oops, I have to jump back to my Facebook tab. Silver is hard to cover, is it? Yeah. Did you catch Amanda's live this morning? And you might have seen some of the brand new Halloween stencils that are available now. If you do want to order those, they're available for pre-order. And also the fall bundle has finished, but these fall stencils are still available for pre-order right now. So you can use my link, use my code iRestoreStuff to get a hold of yours. Yep, there's a little bit of that silver is peeking through, and someone just said that the silver is kind of hard to cover. I'm trying to think if I've ever covered a silver charger before. I don't know that I have. Cassie, you watched Amanda? That's amazing. Diane, you experiment on projects with your women's group. They're guinea pigs. That's a great idea. And we can all learn together, can't we? So who else has, if you have done a silver charger or anything silver before with either chalk paint or mineral paint, let me know in the comments. What did you use? Did you use chalk paint or mineral paint? What have you painted your silver chargers with? Let's see how this covers. And if it doesn't cover brilliantly, you know what? I'm just going to go with that antique look. And we're going to distress some of the edges to let the silver peek through. And we'll just go with it, you know? Cassie, your fall bundle already shipped. Oh, well, that's wonderful. Must have received a shipping notification, so they must be starting early because they were hoping to get all the fall shipments sent out by the 30th of August. And I know here in the US right now it's the 28th. And here in Australia we're on the 29th, so. And I tell you what, folks, here in Queensland where I live, spring, even summer has come early because we're at the opposite end of all of the seasons to you guys. And so we are heading into spring, the 1st of September. Oh, that's hot. The 1st of September is our first day of spring. And it's looking a little better, but you see we can still see some things peeking through there. And so we have our summer temperatures have just, you know, hit at the moment. So yeah, it's crazy. You know what? I might, let's see, I'm wondering whether I should just leave this a minute before painting it some more. And I'll go on with our second project today, which also has a little thing on it that I was telling you about earlier. I'll let that cool a bit. Let me see if I've got some. I'll use Slick Stick first for shiny surfaces. Yeah, Jenny. We have something in the Fusion range that's called Ultra Grip, and I should probably have used that first because that would probably have made it a little bit. I didn't think, because the silver isn't slick, and I know that Fusion mineral paint sticks well on metal, but this, again, this isn't Fusion. This is a chalk paint, which is just a little bit different. So I don't know if that's the thing or what, but this is the Scandinavian-inspired Thanksgiving stencil. There is an example of it right there on the page. Please excuse me, I'll have to get my tissue out. Oh, Phyllis says, yeah, it would have looked nice with crackle on it. Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay, let's have a look. So we do have just a slight tinge down the bottom, but, you know, we're just going to go with it. This fits perfectly, and it's a 12 by 12 stencil, but my round, I didn't think it was quite 12 inches. I think it's more like 11. Let's just have a look. 11 and a half, so it fits nicely though. Perfect. perfectly. So I could put a little bit of tape on there just underneath here to make it stabilize it just a bit. And I'm putting it on the drop cloth here, so it's just creating a bit of fuzz on the background, so it's not. So I'm just going to find a bit of space where there's no stencil and tape it down there. And defuzzing, or adding fuzz to the tape, detackying, something like that. Let me see if it might fit right in here. So I'm just going to find a spot where there's no stencil, and we just need to get it down as flat as we can so we can get the stencils either side. Now, I saw a Scandinavian sign when I was just Googling Scandinavian designs. Excuse me. And I saw a few different colours. There's the beautiful bright blue that you could use, like a, where is it? Like a Liberty blue. There's that blue that could just be beautiful with just the blue and just the white. But I saw a combination of a few colours, and one was like a light blue, one was a mustard, and one was a red. And there was this combination that created a really fun Scandinavian look. So I'm going to try that today. And I'm going to try taping off some areas. So maybe mustard in this area for the pumpkin. We'll try some blue in some areas. Maybe the blue could be the words. But, you know, it's up to you where you want to put your red, your blue, and all the things. We may even do some red and blue turkeys. I don't know. Let's have a play. Let's have a play with the colours and play with the taping off of things. So just to start with, I'll just pop a little bit of something there, and we'll just start with this mustard colour. Now this is Fusion Mineral Paint. If you do want to use Fusion, I have a code, I Restore Stuff, that you can use at the link that's in the description or in the pinned comment. Grab my stencil brush and an offloading piece of cardboard. Excuse me. A little bit of a mustard colour on the brush. Yeah, a lot of you said, oh, thank you, Teresa. I love how you colour your stencils. Now I've got a little bit of a place here that I'll need to block off as well. I didn't think about down underneath the pumpkin, so we'll have to do that as well. Just adding a touch of tape there, and we're going to go over the pumpkins. Now I am going to do the vines as well, so no, I won't. Let's do those a different colour. What other things could I do in this mustard? Because I kind of want a bit of a good even mix of all of the different colours. So we could add some mustard right here in the centre, or some of these leaves out here. It could also just look like fall leaves. They would possibly fit into the mustard category. And then add some blue and some red mixed in here too. Acorns. Let's just keep going with this mustard, shall we? Add a touch more on my brush. Offload it on the cardboard. And I'm being careful not to get the mustard on the turkey beside it. I'll go ahead with this leaf here. Very carefully adding to my leaves. And we're going to have a combination of 3 colours. And when I saw it on the sign that I was looking at that just said, you know, I just looked up Scandinavian signs. Let's just add a touch more down the bottom. So we'll add a few different combinations of colours here. And it had these 3 similar colours. And I liked it, so we're going to go with that today. Now we have a heart here. I think we'll use the red for the heart. Maybe some red on the turkeys. I know we could just sort of do a little bit of, I feel like we could do some mustard around the outside of the turkey's feathers, tail feathers. Just a little bit of a, what do you call that? A blend. Who knows? It might work. We're just experimenting. Ombre it, Susan says. Yes, we were thinking the same thing at the same time. A little bit of an ombre turkey. So adding that to my plastic bag so that in case I want to do some mustard again later, we may touch up the colours. Okay, so moving this now to cover the pumpkin area, and maybe that here. Let's see. We can use, we'll do these leaves. We might do, I feel like we want to do the words maybe blue. So let's do some of this red. We'll do some red now. That's what we'll do. Maybe I can leave those blue. I don't know. Let's have a look. We'll grab the red. And this is Fort York red. You could use any of the fusion reds. I think there's another one I used the other day, which is Winchester. It has a few burgundy purpley tones in it. So that could even work as a nice base for this colour. In fact, let's try that. Because sometimes this red is a little bit translucent, whereas this one has extra good coverage. So we can use it as a base or a foundation and then add that on the top. I'm going to use a smaller brush right now, which is the 1/2 inch brush. Oh, thank you all so much. Yeah, Kim, I'm not sure if I'm going to use that Liberty Blue. I'm going to use this light blue. It's kind of a bluish green. It's called Heirloom. And we are dipping our brush into the, what is this colour again? Winchester. And I'll show you its colour is just more of a burgundy red. Oop. And we're just going to use this as a base coat for the Liberty red colour that I want to do there. Let's start with this heart. And we'll go red down here. And we'll do these up here. It's a bit of an autumn leaf look up here. I know the pumpkin vines aren't usually red, but we're just going with the colour theme for a Scandinavian look today. And then we'll go back to our silver charger that's drying down there. A little bit more red. What else? Turkey. We were thinking, me, I was thinking turkey, we'll sort of ombre it. We could even do a 1/2 red turkey or ombre it with a bit of blue. I think 1/2 red and 1/2 mustard might go well, so I may add a bit more mustard. To our turkey. Maybe we'll add some more out there on the feathers. What do you think? Could add a little green to the red stems, someone suggested. We could. See how it all turns out. So remember, this red is going to be sort of an undercoat for my brighter red, although this red is really leaning into that Scandinavian look also, so you could do both. Wonder what I'll do this. What do you think? Maybe the blue, some blue down there. The words are going to be that blue colour. So I could just add a bit more red, burgundy, for these small leaves here. So let's add now that brighter red over the top, and I'll just hit that with the hairdryer and see. Then we'll add our blue colours in there. Bonnie says it reminds me of troll painting. Yeah, it does. You could also do this with a blue background and then have white as a feature on the top. So add blue to the bottom. Could do that. Now I'm going to use the same burgundy brush and just add a bit of this bright red. It's Fort York red in the Fusion Mineral Paint range. Grabbing a bunch of it with my brush And I'm going to do this, and it'll sort of mix in that red tone, make it a little brighter, but we can still see a bit of a burgundy tone underneath it. And that makes that colour a lot more solid. So let's try and add a bit more to that. And adding that here, because I had, sometimes you're stenciling in the swirling motions. That first coat, especially when you're doing it over white, it adds a little bit of scratch marks on the white, so it's kind of, it doesn't look as nice and neat and tidy. Oop, I have some red on the words here, and I did not want that, but anyway, hopefully when we go over that with the blue, it'll work out nicely. There we go. It's covering nicely. And here's our turkey. Gobble, gobble. Someone said, do you like these colours? Yeah, these are the fusion colours. Let's see. Go over that tail with a bit more, oops, with a bit more mustard, I think. That's why I put my brushes in a plastic bag, to just keep them in case I'm going to go over another colour again or doing a second coat. It's better to not put them in the water until you're completely finished with them, because you kind of want a bit more of a drier brush. Okay, so that's given us a nice solid red there. Now here's our mustard, is it? Yep, there it is. I'll pop this back in here, the red, and we'll go back to this mustard and just go over that turkey tail and do a little bit more of a blending. So let's have a look, see if we can make that blend a bit better. Did I do one coat of the mustard? I must have. Now, because this is going to blend, I may need a drier brush. So I can see little spatters of the mustard. I'm turning my brush around because it's joined into that red paint now. To do that little blending look. I don't know how that's working out. We'll see when we take the stencil off, I guess. I was thinking I could use a very small, let's see, where's our special new brushes? The little soft domed synthetic brushes could be good for blending these colours right here. So let me just add a touch to that. And just in this section here, I think it'll be great for blending. I feel like I need a bit of red on the brush as well. I don't know. Well, you know, I'm experimenting so that you can do or not do what I'm doing. You can change your colours according to whatever you think you would like to do. Oops, no, that's not blending very well at all. Where's a bit of red? Maybe if I do wet this brush, now I don't recommend usually if you're stenciling to wet the brushes, but because I want to blend, I'm just thinking this might just blend a little in here. What do you think? Oh, well, that's doing something. Let's see. I've just wet my brush and I'm just kind of moving it back and forth along that edge of where the colours join. Yeah, that could work. that now I feel like I'm pulling some colour off there. So I don't know, guys. Totally up to you how you do this. There we go. That sort of feels like a little bit more like blending. But these brushes are nice for blending, I'm feeling. We'll see how that looks. Let's get on with the blue, shall we? So that's mustard and Fort York red. My lids are really messy. And pop that in the water. Now this is heirloom blue. It's kind of a bluey greeny colour. Pop the mustard in here, just in case there's bits that we need to go over in the end. And this is the blue. So now I'm going to have to be careful where I'm going to use a different piece of cardstock now. And I will have to be a little careful where I'm taped and where I want it to go. So we'll move these pieces of tape so that we can do the words. We'll go on the opposite way. Move this over here. Move this one here. This is a little close to the leaf, so let's make sure we don't get that. And this one's very close to this leaf. And over here, we could use a bit of cardstock as well to just kind of move around and hold it over the top as we go. But this tape is also working fine. And then when we go down here, we'll add a bit more down there too. So let's have a look. We've got our 5/8 inch brush. We'll add this heirloom colour to the brush. And we want to just work that into the bristles and offload as much as we can. And now we're going over the words in this beautiful heirloom blue. It's kind of, I think it's got some green undertones in it. I feel like it needs a little bit of dampness. Sometimes the paints dry out a little bit. And then we're going to go on with our green charger down there and add something to that. How are we going for time? We've got time. Don't forget to join in the comments and the conversation, because if you're new here, we'd love to hear from you. We give away prizes at the end of our live to 3 lucky winners. And you get a $20 gift voucher to spend at Essential Stencil, which is great value. You could get yourselves some of these stencils that we are working with today, and they're ready to ship. Apparently, well, all of the pre-orders are being shipped. Well, someone just said that they got their shipping notification, so they're starting to ship them. Hopefully all shipped by 30th of August. So you will have some stencils ready to create some fall decor this holiday season. Moving into that season. This is a beautiful blue. So hopefully these Scandinavian colours that I've picked today, or Scandinavian inspired, I think, hopefully they work nicely with this sign. I'm just dampening my brush a little because the paint's a bit dry. And swirling, but not swirling too hard. I'm just kind of pouncing and smushing, pounce and swirl kind of a motion. So that's the words. Now we've got a little bit of these leaves down here. Not quite enough on the brush, and I do need a bit more tape, so let's grab the tape from up here that we're finished with, and I'll move it down here at the bottom of the turkey foot, because I did get a bit of red on this dot or seed or berry or whatever it is. Oop. Got a great big blob there, so we'll just offload that. And let's see, there we go. Olive is still chewing away at her treat bone thing. It's not a bone, it's one of those raw hides. And so that it's a long-lasting chew, as we've been told. I think just this section here, I want to be careful not to get it on there. So we've got red, Fort York red, heirloom is the blue we're using, and mustard is the yellowy mustard colour. All right, let's see how all these colours worked out nicely together. Oh, there we go. That just creates a little bit more, just the dampness. If your brush or if your paint has dried out a little bit, might help there. It's all a bit of trial and error, but also practice. Okay, so if you're brand new to stenciling, let me know if you're brand new to stenciling, by the way, in the comments. Let us know if you've never stenciled before. I've got lots of great tips and helpful videos for you, and you can look back at any of the Ambassador Live videos here on the Essential Stencil page. But one of our tips is to offload as much as paint as you can, and let's see how this turned out. Okay, lifting that up now. Oops, we've got our taped down. Oh look, our turkey tails turned out pretty well. Maybe I could have gone over the mustard one more coat and it would have, see how it's a little scratchy? But that looks fine from there. We've got some Scandinavian colours here. Happy Thanksgiving. And I don't mind the turkey tails. I think they ombre'd pretty well. What do you think? Do you like the turkey tails? All right, let's go on with our, don't forget that I believe there was a couple of stencils, I just thought I'd pull it out now, a couple of stencils in the fall set that you would receive as a free gift for any orders over $90. So I think that this one came with footballs that go in the back of the truck, or you can just use the truck by itself. You wouldn't have to add the footballs. You can use that for anything. Now this, I believe they were going to be selling those as single sets, so don't forget, if you want to do that, use my code I Restore Stuff for that. Okay, so there's our Scandinavian themed. Let me see if I can fix this tray. Oh my goodness, I haven't painted with this colour before. I'll put these in the water, and it's proving a little bit, well, maybe it's the silver tray. Let's see. Should be dry enough now to just create one more coat, and then we'll dry that, and then we'll go on with just adding our transfer, because I'm still seeing a lot of silver on the tray, and it's not what we want. It's not the ideal. But like I said before, we can just turn it into something that's a bit more shabby, vintage, and distress some of those parts that are silver showing through still, like these edges here. Still feel like they're showing a bit more silver. But I feel like maybe this coat is the winner. Maybe this coat is the charm. Nope, it's still, and it'll grab that first layer sometimes and pull that back, which is annoying when you don't want it to do that. But it's okay if you're like me and just go, look, let's go with it. Let's just go with what's happening. And we just create something, a new look. So this is a chalk paint as opposed to a mineral paint. And the main difference between a chalk paint and the mineral paint, which I was alluding to earlier, I have a really good blog post that explains the difference between all three different types of paint: chalk paint, mineral paint, and milk paint. And the main difference is that chalk and milk paints are both a porous finish. They have a porous finish, so you do need a sealer in order to top coat them. If you're using them on your furniture or home decor, you can top coat them and it'll be all sealed. And the chalk paint is thicker, milk paint is a lot thinner, and then your mineral paints is kind of in between. So that's the main differences. But I do have a really good blog post that explains the difference and has a little chart there. So if you go to my blog, irestorestuff.com, And you can use my search bar there and just type in what's the difference, and it will come up with that post, that blog post. So what's the difference between chalk paint, milk paint and mineral paint. That's right, Susan, we've just got to go with the flow in life. And Nancy's asking, how will the transfer stick to the paint without peeling later? Oh, I hadn't thought about that it might peel, because the transfer will stick to whatever surface it's sticking to, which in this case is going to be the chalk paint. Oop, I can go higher. Yes, Tammy says, trust the process, Christy. That's right. And so I do see some little hints of silver there. So in the end, we might just end up distressing those with a little bit of sandpaper and just going with that process. So I'm just going to stop at this layer of paint here. You could do more layers of paint. It does look better with the third coat. I agree, Maggie. So we're just going to go with that if you do want to do another coat. So this is, like I said before, I don't know if someone's already grabbed them, but these transfers here, Pumpkin Harvest, it has these 2 sheets of transfers in them with all these beautiful gourds, pumpkins, vines, pumpkin flowers. I'm going to be using this one from that today, but there were only 2 left. Two left. And so you can use my code I Restore Stuff if you're going to grab those, grab them now, and then jump back on the live, because they may already be gone. Let me know if you see them and they're gone. But there's only 2 of them left. I'm not sure that they'll be restocking those. So if you did want them, grab them now. Maybe wax the edges. Yeah, we could do that. All right, so I'm going to put this on, and I'm hoping to do a stencil right over the top of the entire lot. So we're just going to whack this in the middle. Let's just go down a little. And I've already pre-cut it out. Then we're going to use a transfer tool and just add the transfer onto the charger, painted charger. You can add these transfers, I believe you could add them. Has anyone tried that? Adding them straight to a silver charger without painting the charger, you know? Could try that. Now my charger is still warm from the hairdryer, so I'm wondering if that might help the process or hinder it. It looks like it's helping. I'm not getting any leftover bits of transfer stuck down. If you've never seen us use the transfers before, it's simply a process of removing the paper backing, and then you're left with the design, which you put with the sticky side down. You rub over the top of it and then start peeling back the plastic layer. Super easy. And then you can use this tool that Essential Stencil has, or you can simply use a store card. I think there's a little bit coming off there. Now sometimes if you're using this on a dark background, you might see just around the edges the little a little white cloudy area, but that, as soon as you seal it, that will disappear and you won't have that mark there. So I'll show you in just a minute what I'm talking about. It's just a slight edging. You can see the edge around the rub-on. Yes, the transfers are always so beautiful. They're usually watercolor type art, and it really adds to the stencils, the designs. Creates a beautiful, fun look. I think this is the first time I've painted a charger, so I'm literally experimenting with you all. And I'll have to have a look back through the comments to see, because I asked before who's painted a charger before. So someone's asking, what do I seal it with? I think Thanks, Sherry. Good question. I will seal this, and because it's chalk paint, it does need a sealer. Fusion mineral paint has a built-in top coat, so it's not essential to seal it, but it is an option. It's optional. So it does give it a nice finished look, I think, sometimes, especially when you've got stencils over the top or a transfer. There we go. So our transfer paper is all clear. There's no little bits left on it. If there was, we would just lay it back down and do that process. So I'll show you what I mean, just right around the edges here. Yeah, if you rub it down, sometimes it will disappear, but when you do your sealer over the top, that will disappear. So I'll hold this up here, you can see it a little bit clearer, but there's a little tiny white edging, and if you've done these before, you'll probably know what I mean. If it's on a dark background, then you sometimes will see these edges right here. But never mind, once you seal it, those tend to disappear, which is great. Okay, another one of the fall stencils, which I'm not using today, but I wanted to point out, was this Fall Sweet Fall. Has some gorgeous, because I had thought about this when I was doing this earlier, I thought instead of the transfer, you could add these patterns. Now there's two patterns. There's a large leaf and then there's the smaller fall leaves. You know, it would lend really well to having some of these patterns going on the charger around like that for a nice fall design. So that's just another option. And this has the Fall Sweet Fall stencil. It also has the Hello Fall. And that's a 4-piece set called Maple Autumn Greetings. So if you did want that one, that's what that's called. Don't forget to use my code. Olive, excuse you. I think she's finished. And where's my stencil? Oh, this one. This is the one I was going to use on top. Now, this, I think that's a little Scandi as well. A little bit Scandinavian. I'm liking that. So I haven't opened this one yet. It is... The leaves are from, oh, yep, I got that. You got it then. Maple Autumn Greetings is the name of that set. Now, this set is called Abundantly Blessed, and the link is right there in the description of your live and in the pinned comment. You can use my code, I restore stuff, and save you 10%. We've got this one here, very cute, and again, I like this. It's got these little curly vine things, which really lends a similar look to this Scandinavian feel. And then this one, of course, may our lives be full of both thanks and giving. Very cute as well. So you could add something like that, minus the pumpkin. And again, we've got some little things there that look cute. Scandinavian. Now I'm going to leave the turkey off this design because we've got this busy in the background. I'm going to try and just stencil this right over the top and creating this in the center. So let's have a look. I will have to use some of this tape. I'll just do it this way. And we'll just use the color, the white, because you can stencil over the top of the transfers. So we've got the rub-on transfer underneath, and I'm hoping that the white stands out well enough where the pumpkin is, and then I've got that in the center. Now this charger does have a lip up on the edge of the plate there, so we may need to just sort of hold that down a bit. I'm trying to find a brush that might be good. This is a 3/4 inch brush. Where's my my cardboard and some white. So I'm using casement white, which is one of our true whites. Yes, to seal it, you can use any water-based acrylic sealer to seal your signs. So we're adding some white here. Offloading the brush, working it into the bristles. And now I'm going to have to hold this down. I could tape it also. Could be a good idea. Just going to use some of this tape from our other sign because it's kind of less tacky now. And hope that it doesn't stick too hard, because remember this paint was a little bit not sticking well to the silver. So hopefully I don't get some paint line, the paint come off in those areas. But for this section here, I will have to use my finger to hold that down as flat as you can where the design is coming up, where the stencil itself is coming up close to the edge. Once you've held that down, and you can move along a little bit. There we go. So now I can go over it a little bit more freely. And pressing it down again. And over in this corner, again, holding it down with my little pinky. Going over those areas where there's a little bit less paint on the brush. Oh, see, that looks like it's pulling off the paint again. So I don't know if I had a good paint choice for this one. Oh, it looks like a pizza pan. It probably does. It is a silver charger that I showed it at the beginning of the live if you missed the look of that. I'm just going to go over this fairly gently because I feel like it was peeling away some paint there. And it's going over the pumpkin area now. So we are stenciling directly onto the rub-on transfer. So that transfer, because it's sort of got a bit of a plasticky feel to it, you may want to do a second coat because you might see that it's a little bit more translucent. I'm going down here on this word now. Feel like I've got a bit too much on the brush. I always hesitate to do swirls when I know that I've got a bit too much on my brush, and I'm just sort of pouncing and smushing instead. Pouncy smush and swirling. Those are our technical terms here today. Okay, we're almost finished, so don't go anywhere because we'll be picking some winners from our watching our live today. Go over that section where the pumpkin is again because it will be a little bit more, it needs a little bit more coverage. Olive, have you finished your treat? I think she's finished. Let's see how that worked out. Hopefully it's not sticking. Put that down here. And there we go. Forever thankful, always grateful, abundantly blessed. I think that turned out pretty well. So chalk paint always does have a bit of a chalky feel. Like I said before, the main difference between chalk paint and mineral paint is that it has a porous finish. So you will need to seal that. But before we do, because of that, little speckles of silver showing through here and there, I think that I will. You know what I feel like doing right now? I feel like I'm going to get this brush that's quite dry and just go over these edges. Instead, I was going to get a bit of sandpaper, which I have here, and you can scuff those edges because can you see the little ridges? It's almost like a pie plate. It has these little ridges in it. So I was thinking I could sand that, but you watch what happens when I hit that with the highlight of a dry brush, and it'll look almost like it just hits the high areas. You could always do this with the metallic as well. So see that there? It's got a nice edging to it now. And it causes those little silvery bits to just sort of blend in. So you could sand it back, or you could do what I'm doing and add a bit of highlighting to the edges. So this area we have not done the highlights to, and then you can see the difference here where we've added that dry brush. So see how we just do spontaneity is the key to my lives half the time. We just make it up as we go along, and I hope you get a lot out of that anyway. We're getting ready to pick some prize winners after I just finish this little bit here. And there we go. I think that's blended nicely. And you could even go along those edges a little bit. But I will seal that in a minute. Probably after we finish the live, I'll go ahead and seal it. But there you go. You can see that turned out quite well. So you can stencil over the top of the transfers. So we've got the transfer, the stencils, and if you want any of the links to any of the stencils or products we've used today, you can, let me just grab my, you can use my code, I Restore Stuff. Let me just pop this up a minute. Say hello to you all, there we go. So if you want to check out my blog and look up the difference between chalk paint, mineral paint and milk paint, it's irestorestuff.com. At iRestoreStuff at all of the different places on the internet, all of the social media platforms. So here we go. There's our projects that we worked on today. Beautiful fall decor. So all of these still available using my code iRestoreStuff to save 10%. And I'm just looking for our winners today. Hi Brenda, hi Tracy. Thank you so much guys for joining me. I do love to go back and have a look through comments. But there's the Scandinavian colours that we went with today with that beautiful Happy Thanksgiving theme with a bit of ombre on the turkey tails. So there you go. Let me see. Let me know if you see winners announced yet, and I will read those out because I love to see who and congratulate our winners. Let's see, get these straight. Beautiful Thanksgiving signs or ideas. So I will seal these, and this it won't be like a food tray. You would put this maybe on an easel or a plate. What do you call it? A little plate holder, the plate stand maybe is what you'd call it, or just even use some kind of a hanger to hang on the back of your plate, or even plate hangers would work beautifully on a wall. So let me see. Have we got some winners live tonight? Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Brenda. Oh, thank you so much. I hope this these symptoms disappear soon, because it's very frustrating when you're live and have a cold and you're trying to talk. I don't see our winners, so let me know if you see them. But thank you, Christy. Thank you so much. Oh, my phone is letting me know the battery's running low. Very cool. Well, I will wait for Essential Stencil usually does pick some winners at the end of our lives. Oh, Renee's saying congratulations, winners. Maybe they're there and I just don't see them yet. So let me see. They'll be pinned to the top very soon. And if you have been tagged as a winner on our live, let me know if you see them. But if you've been tagged as a winner, you can just email Essential Stencil, let them know you're a winner on Sharon's live tonight. And yes, Christy's seeing the winners too, but I'm not. So let me know if that's you. Congratulations. And you have won a $20 gift voucher for Essential Stencil. And Maggie's suggesting you could add a glass plate on top of the server to serve food on. So you could do that. A see-through glass plate so you can see the beautiful design once the food is removed from it. But thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. And I will see you next week for another fun live DIY project. Bye.